Welcome everyone to Is Your Six Covered? Appreciate you showing up and have a little fun tonight before we get going. Probably be a short night because I didn't bring any tea and I brought no water. But let's have some fun. Dang, Jerry Parker got first, second, and third place. But the real second, the actual second, was Carcane. Let's see here. Do I hear fourth? Orson Humphrey, welcome. Drew Bradley, Carcane. Let's see, Nancy Mink, Bob M, welcome. The other Tim Davis. Tim Davis is finally first, he says. Let's see, man autocorrect. All right, let's see. Yeah, we need to hit them. We need to hit that like button. I know you guys are having fun, but why not hit that like button? Let's see. Welcome, Andy Nelson. Six Rudders is out there. Welcome. I'll be seeing you shortly. Couple matches away. We'll be shooting together in Squad 2, I believe, right? Is it Squad 2 or that's next Saturday? Sunday, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's Squad 2. James Henderson, how you doing? He must be running the corner store for tea. Yeah, no, I should have. I decided, no tea tonight. Get to bed early. Let's see. 45 Auto. Your little present has been sent out today, so be looking in the mail for that. And I also sent out to George the Yautech for his CZ win up in Canada. He's from Canada, so it's amazing. Let's see. Stratus 27 evening. Robert Warren, Tyler Orth, Alaska 1, Andy 6. Creeders out there, welcome. Jason Hunt, Otter's out there. Bravado Racing's out there. CJ Johnson, welcome. JT Holds, you guys are pouring in now. Let's see. Got Ramsey Country out there. Abigail, he saw. We're trying to get Josh Thomas on here. And for being an IT guy, he really sucks at making computers work. So for some reason, he's not able to jump on here yet. Or maybe never. We'll see what happens. He's learned from the other Tim Davis. Pretty sure he could do it. Got X-Ring out there. He just left, actually. So, hola, Mr. X-Ring. Luke is out there. Jeff Lewis. And we got Mark Hedrick. Hey, you guys are pouring in here. Welcome. Lance Holly, welcome. All right, so fun today. So I did name it Practicing for the Kentucky. We got a match coming up Sunday, which should be a lot of fun. And doing a lot of positional shooting. We did a video, or actually X-Ring did it on his channel, where you guys maybe had a chance to see kind of some of the training that we've been doing. And it doesn't take a lot of distance for positional shooting. I think the stuff that you guys were possibly able to see, if you saw it, we were shooting out to like, the farthest was 105 yards is as far as we can go. And it's all about how small the targets are and being in a weird position. So I think on that video, because we did a bunch of video, but he only showed a little bit of it. I think we were doing some know your limits and some other things off of a cattle gate. And it's great training. I actually did that today. Shot about 200 rounds. And it was enjoyable. And it's, I think the more we do it, right, like anything out there, whether it's baseball or soccer, the more you practice, the better you get, the more comfortable you get. Oh, maybe Josh. Wow, he's actually even on the screen. He hasn't, like, left again. Let's see if we can actually talk to Josh today. Does it work? Can we hear you?
What's going on?
Damn IT guys suck. So I'm assuming not. Welcome, Josh. Hopefully you know sign language so you can talk to everybody out there because your microphone is not working. No Pure Leaf, Simon. I have nothing right now. I've got the only thing I got to give a huge thanks to Razor JB, but he gave me some of this stuff. We'll see if it works. I did put a little bit on just a few minutes ago, and we'll see if it helps. Go ahead, Josh. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you can talk.
Yeah, can you hear me?
And no. Only is I can read lips. So
all right, hold on.
You said, "Can you hear me?" And no, we can't hear you. Let's see. What up, Joe M? 1 minute. All right, yeah, come back. Let's see. What up, Charles Tiffy? Welcome. Your Charles Tiffy was on the channel the other night. If you guys didn't get a chance to see Charles, it was a great chat and a lot of good information on that chat as well. Most chats we have some great information. This one, we'll see what happens, see what we end up talking about. But yeah, it was a good chat. So thanks again. Who else we got out there? Let's see, Nancy. Oh shoot. Shit. I know why I can't hear him, because I don't have the dang thing on. That was bad of me. Josh, hopefully you're I forgot. I had the earplugs plugged in here. Let me text him. That's funny. We'll get him back on here. All right. Technical difficulties. Let me put this in. That's the reason why I went on StreamYard tonight, was because our special guest Josh is out there. And Josh, it was not you, it was me.
Well, I think it was part of me too. This headset's kind of crazy.
No, I'm pretty about 110% sure it was me this time.
All right, right on.
Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it working finally.
Yeah, I know it's been a while.
It has been a while. We got John Kreiderman out there. Yeah, rookie
What's
mistake.
going on, John?
We got actually, if you guys don't know, we got Josh will be shooting. We'll be shooting together in Kentucky, so that'll be pretty good. I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna say hi to 45 Auto. And now we got a clean screen. So, Mr. IT, we are rocking and rolling. We're good now.
That's right.
About dang time, right? The first time it was you, the second time it was me. Chris Estes is out there. Welcome. They're all saying, yeah, I hear him. Once they started reading the comments, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what the problem is. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see here. So, how's things? Are you ready? Do you got your zeros and all that? Because I read an email today. I actually emailed the match director and said, hey, are we going to have time to do any zeros? And I don't know if you saw that email or not, but he said, no, we're actually not doing zeros, which is completely different. They're actually going to do a cold bore shot, and that's going to be part of the stages. So, unfortunately, that could actually suck really bad, especially if you're way off.
Yeah, I read that email, and of course I'm going to move in here so I got better signal for you. Of course, I'm not prepared at all, so.
Oh, that means you'll hit everything then.
No,
if you guys don't know, Josh,
true the gun.
Oh, you are? Nice. And you're going. Yep. I think last time we talked, you're going to be shooting Ely 10X as your match ammo for this match.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be shooting the 10X until I get up there to Lapua.
Gotcha. Why don't you tell them what you're shooting, Josh? I know we talked a little bit about it, but not officially on one of these chats.
Yeah, not on the stream.
Maybe give them an idea what you're running, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I've got the factory CZ 457 MTR, and everything on it stock except for the barrel right now. So I did change the barrel. I'm using a Yo Dave trigger spring kit and an Athlon scope on it, but it's a pretty basic setup. It's got the stock MTR wood stock that comes with it with the plastic pillars, so it's not pillar bedded, not in the chassis, doesn't have anything but a barrel right now.
Yeah, so it was the first time I met Josh. It was out at VOD. It's in Old Fort, North Carolina. There's a series out there that Chris Simmons is putting on. That's really actually an awesome series. But we had met up with Josh. He's like, "Yeah, I'm shooting." He thought I was going to be shooting production. He was going to try to. He was going to try to get me, which he probably would have. But now he's shooting open, so he can come after me again. So.
That's right.
So can't get away from this guy.
I came to get you, and then unfortunately, John Crowderman was just an innocent bystander.
That's right. He was. Yeah, I'm gonna switch over and shoot the Ruger RPR, just so I don't have to deal with your ass this week. No,
yeah,
I'm
I bet
kidding.
you are.
No, I've been practicing up on the old voodoo, so we'll see what happens. I did get confirmation in 2 emails today. One of them was saying that John Crowderman's rifle, or his barreled action's being sent out, and mine. So we should be getting those in probably a few days. Probably it'll show up Saturday, but right after we leave for Kentucky, I'm sure. But
yeah, probably.
But it'll be good. It'll be nice. Yeah, because it wasn't supposed to show up till I think the 13th of March. So it's ahead of time.
Yeah, it seems pretty ahead of schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys are waiting on a barreled action my brain just went blank. Altus, you might be getting an email shortly, so that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I was excited. We're still waiting on a couple triggers actually, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I see. Charles Tiffy asked what made me swap the factory CZ barrel. So Charles, really it's just an experiment, but the MTR barrel was extremely accurate. I was shooting half-inch groups at 100 with center X with it, and it was just extremely picky. So, most 22s are picky anyway, but this gun was just ridiculous. So I could shoot center X, and 1 out of 10 lots would shoot really well. The other 9 would shoot terribly. So the Lilja barrel is just to see if I could maybe get away with shooting a little bit of variety of ammo and still having a really exceptional accuracy. So we're still working with it. I'm not sure if that's going to pay off.
Yeah, Josh is going to go down the rabbit hole of every little thing. I can tell he's an IT guy. He's going to triple check everything, dot his I's, cross the T's, make sure everything's perfect, which is awesome. That's pretty cool. Me, I'm just going to shoot. What up, Andy Lau? We got Lead Mine and 44 out there. Richard Stevens.
Nancy.
What's Nancy saying?
Nancy Ming asked me, what Athlon scope. So I have the Midas TAC 6-24. That's on my daughter's rifle, which is a CZ457 at 1. I like it. And I've had the Argo stuff, but I just decided to go ahead and buy the Aries. And I'm pretty happy with that, but I've looked through some Night Force stuff, and it's not a Night Force, and it's not a $3,000 optic, but for what it is, I'm extremely happy with them. So for the money, I don't think you can really beat them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so you put a Night Force on your rifle that you were going to shoot, and then did your scope show up? That's what I heard, right?
Well, no, originally, so Athlon just released a new scope that would have kept me in production, but when I decided I wasn't going to shoot production, I figured I'd go ahead and move up. So my buddy John gave me the Night Force to use, and I just didn't feel comfortable using somebody else's $2,000 optic, especially when I had the means to buy my own. And there were a few things I didn't like about the Night Force. It was the NX8, and it had the Tremor 3, which the reticle didn't bother me as much as some, but the real problem I had with it was that it didn't have an illuminated reticle for that price point, and as stupid as it sounds, it didn't have parallax numbers on the adjustment wheel. So, when you go to a stage and you want to set up for like a 120-yard target, you may not be able to look through the glass, but having that number there as an index that you can at least set the parallax to at least gives you, another half second on the stage to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I mean, I noticed myself do it. I'll be like, okay, here's the distances. This is the first one I'm going to shoot. And if I don't want to mess with the parallax, I'll kind of find an in-between number that works. And if so, I'll just set it at, that distance, but at least gives you an idea. I know some people don't like them. They're not supposed to be perfect, but it gives you a marking point to where you can at least kind of get it dialed into. Daniel, go ahead.
There's just something weird about, a $2,000, $2,400 retail scope like that makes you not want to just mark it up and put index marks on it. So we all know that, the parallax may not be right from the factory, but at least give us something to shoot for. Because like you, at the last BOD match, once I set my original parallax, I picked a happy medium, and I don't think I ever touched it actually in the course of fire.
Yeah, I noticed myself at that match in Tennessee. I don't know. It's not that there was a lot of crazy stuff going on, but you did have to range your own targets and find the targets. I don't think I even messed with the parallax once, just because there was so much stuff going on. Because you didn't know where to set it. So, I mean, if it was like horrible, you'd go ahead and grab it. But for the most part, I just shot what I shot. Maybe that's why I didn't do awesome at it. But
yeah, I think the target sizes are usually generous enough to where parallax, as long as you're within the ballpark, is not really going to be an issue. I mean, obviously, if you shoot groups, that's an issue. But trying to hit a 3-inch plate at 120 yards, I think the parallax is probably not going to cause you to miss.
Yeah, I got a video that I did today. Well, I recorded today. I got to do the editing and stuff, but basically talking about small targets. So I had shown you guys, I did like a quick live video about these targets here. This is basically the NRL targets that they use, and it's by JC Steel Targets. And was fortunate enough today to really get out there and test out their targets and shoot them, and I was impressed actually. I liked them. There's no crazy, it's not some like super overcomplicated way of putting targets together. It was just simple, easy double hangers. There was a setup for know your limits, and they had ranges from 1/4 inch all the way up to I think like maybe 5 inches if I was guessing. And we didn't use any of the big targets. We used all the small targets, and we could only shoot out to 105 at X-Ring's place. But, make those targets small. I think we talked about it before. Just if you don't have especially if you don't have the distance, just make everything super tiny and practice the positional shooting. And then when you get to the match, the target should be a lot bigger, so it'll make things a lot faster to engage and a lot easier basically. So make it really hard when you're training. That way when you get to the match, it seems a lot easier. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, no. I think, too, if you make the target size real small, because I have a couple of really small targets, it really helps you kind of identify inconsistencies in your gear, your technique, because if you shoot at a 2-inch plate at 100 yards, it's pretty easy to get overconfident with that. But when you try and shoot that 1/2-inch target at 100 yards with wind, then you really start realizing what doesn't work.
Yeah, and there was quite a few where I was just off the edge, here and here, and I'm like, well, that would have been a hit, but on a normal target, so it's like, it's not like I pulled one or shanked one. It's just there was a little bit of wind, but that's small targets. I did take some video footage of the targets so people get an idea. But it was
I've got some medium-sized targets at a pretty far range here for a rimfire, but the most intimidating target on my range is that 1/4-inch target at 52 yards.
Yeah. Yep. Those. Is it a know your limits little swinger one, or what is it?
Yeah, it's I have a know your limit set up at 50 and 100. So the 50 is the traditional. I think it's like the 1 inch to 1, or I think it's 2 inch to 1/4, and then at 100 it's 4 inch to 1/2.
Yeah, I notice myself always. Not so much anymore. I try not to even bring my bipod. And the reason why I do that is it keeps me off my belly. Everybody shoots better prone. there's really not much movement. If you're having issues at shooting stuff prone, shoot prone and get better at it and more confident. But if you're whacking everything and shooting prone, it's like, okay, get rid of the freaking bipod and do some type of positional shooting, because when you go to a stage and it's prone, unless the wind's really crazy or the targets are like super small, it's spend the time on something else, waste the ammo on positional shooting, I think, just because for the most part that's a lot simpler than doing the other stuff.
Yeah, that's where you're gonna miss too. So
yeah, that's more than likely going to be where you miss for sure. The know your limits at 100 yards is no joke. If those of you out here haven't had a chance to shoot at 100 yards with the know your limits target, it's pretty fun. It is fun.
And I see in the chat, Ross Anderful, I guess we're back on this positive compensation thing.
On what? Let's see.
The barrel whip deal we got into, or you boys got into last time, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot into that. Ramsey Country actually sent me a text with a bunch of pictures on it, and then who was it? I think it was a conservative sniper hunter. Somebody had sent me a link to a video on it.
Nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's too much for me. I mean, I like to go in the down the rabbit hole with things, but you start talking about barrel whip and stuff. I think that's kind of where I check out.
Just bought 10,000 rounds of CX, so I don't have to worry about it. 24 and 26. Oh, is that for a center fire, or is that for a freaking 22 long rifle, Tyler? That's quite a barrel on that bad doggy. 3,000 will be doable with 32-inch blank. This guy's got silver foxes in the house. You better get your butt to bed. Have a great evening. I did have a good dinner. Let's see, Ross. Yeah, if you see any comments out here, let me know that you want to get into.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking. They're coming in pretty quick.
Charles says parallax at infinity and run it. Yeah, not for 22. Not for 22. That ain't going to work very well. That's going to be
Can you imagine what that 25-yard target would look like at infinity?
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. That was some of the things. So we had set up, it seems like a lot of places they'll put, because most people, I would say, for the most part, a 22 long rifle at 50. So they like putting stuff at like 30, 35 yards or whatever the case is. Did a little testing, spun up the Kestrel, and it was saying, what was it saying? I don't have my...
Probably like -2.
No, it was like 210. Crazy. It was like, I think it was like half a mil or some crazy thing.
Oh my, I think mine shows like 2/10.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm just gonna aim at the bottom edge of the target, and that seemed to work. That last match, going back to that last match, that was hidden or unknown targets. Basically, there was a couple like little. I never even saw the damn things, but there's little white markers that'll say like, it give you distances that the targets would be within. It didn't tell you what distance it was at. But for the most part, I was just like, if it was close, I was holding low. And if it seemed about 50, I was holding right at 0. And then, I just kept adding a little bit every time. Because I think I dialed one stage, that was it. And that's another thing I'm trying to do, is do less dialing and more holding. I think just because...
Yeah, I'm kind of on the opposite swing on that. I love to dial. Yeah.
Well, it depends on the stage for me. I'm just thinking, like, if you go into it and there's a couple guys before you and they both time out, or you're thinking, oh, those guys, it's like, maybe I'll just basically hold over. So I've been practicing my weaknesses. So one of them today was shooting left-handed. So I don't know what they got going. What this match is going to entail or what's involved in it, but everybody, for the most part, we always practice the stuff that we're decent at. and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away from that and practice a little bit. So I did basically, I'd shoot, and then if I hit, I would switch over to left-handed. I'm trying to getting used to my my left eye looking through the reticle, being able to find it easier. I used to fight with that a lot, especially with like 3-gun and red dots, and like not so much red dots, but with a scope.
Oh, I bet.
It'd take me forever to get it, the target.
Yeah, I don't. If there's a left-handed or support side stage at this match we're going to in Kentucky, I mean, that's like guaranteed 0 for me.
Well, see, and that, so. What up, Ghost Rider? Welcome
Yeah, I need to
the show.
work on it for sure. I'm the same boat. Like I've never needed to shoot support side, so it's something that. Sorry, I keep moving around. But yeah, I've never practiced it, so I can't find the scope when I'm trying to look through that and pick it up. And so
Yeah.
I guess I just hope for the best.
One thing I did notice, maybe it'll help, was you almost have to be less magnification so that you can find the target. So even going from right shoulder to left shoulder and already having the rifle pointed in the general direction, and then trying to close your right eye and find it in the target, it seemed like less magnification was easier, but the problem is you would really have to crank up the power. Once the power was cranked up, it seemed like you could hit a lot better. Not way zoomed, way powered up, but
Yeah.
just so you get a really clear picture of the reticles, the issues I was having, because I was doing holdovers as well as, so I'm looking for that. Like I think it was at 1.5 or 2.25 kind of deal. So just trying to get familiar with being unfamiliar with stuff. I know that doesn't make much sense, but trying to basically put myself in a bad spot so that if I do go to a match, it'll feel more comfortable, I guess. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I'm like the king of changing crap last minute and then taking that unfamiliar crap to like a stage and then doing bad at the stage and then mysteriously being pissed off about it.
Yeah. And then you're like, why did I change up? That's like watching, because I know you shoot a lot of USPSA stuff, but it's like, how you'll have this plan in your head and then some guy will run the stage and you're like, oh, that looks way faster. You're like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And then you're like, bad idea. I never should have tried that. I wasn't mentally prepared to do that and change my spot where I'm going to reload and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, don't do it.
That's
Just
right.
Stick with your plan.
Stick with your stage plan. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I was surprised. So I didn't have a big, I don't have like the background that you and Ray do as far as like long gun shooting.
I have no background. I just pull the trigger.
Well, you guys shoot big guns, but so I'm not a big gun shooter. I've never shot PRS, and that was my first match for PRS 22. But I'm surprised how much of the handgun USPSA match type stuff actually moves over into the NRL PRS 22.
Yeah, I actually had some good conversations with Ray or X-Ring about that kind of stuff, and he says I think he had said that a lot of it comes down to like trigger discipline and feeling it, and you know what I mean, like all that kind of stuff with a pistol does transfer over to long rifle. About not jerking the trigger kind of stuff, breaking the shot clean, knowing, confirming before you squeeze the trigger that you're right on the money. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think even just the stage planning perspective of it and being able to come up with a stage plan and then look at the stage plan as like a puzzle to solve for the course of fire so that you know that you're going to try and move the most efficiently and get your weapon in the engagement as efficiently as you can. That saves you an enormous amount of time. The shooting really is, 30% of it.
Yeah, I would say so. I noticed myself getting more comfortable you walk to the next stage and then you're like, okay, here's what you got to deal with. You're like, okay. Seems like the more you do it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna use the bipod there. I'm gonna use this bag here, kind of deal. Like, I think it's just from running. The more you go to these things, which is really cool. I'm really trying to go to a lot of matches this year, just so I get more comfortable with
looking at some of these comments.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, so somebody asked me, who was it? They asked me what I was drinking. It's just a V8, like sparkling energy drink.
There you go.
Yeah.
A V8? So you're little like this right now?
No, yeah, exactly. Let's see what else is out there. That was Simon. Let's see what else we missed.
Hope you get better fast. Uh-oh, Big Country. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. Let me go up here and see what's wrong with them.
And maybe you know the answer to this one, Rick. What's the difference between a Leupold at 5HC and 6HC besides the price? Because I have no idea.
I don't know. I do not know. Know your limits. What?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just reading comments. Big Country says know your limits is hard enough at 50. 100 will be a pain. It is very much a pain. The ammo is a huge. This is where that stuff comes into play. Having, well-made ammo. Yes, it costs a lot. But if you want to hit that 1/4 inch with some of that big box stuff that comes in a bulk.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
It's probably not going to happen. And if you do hit it, it's probably an accident.
Yeah.
Or lucky, one of the two. Have you ever beat Ray? Oblivious. I have beat Ray a couple times. It was in horseshoes, ping pong, and darts. Never in shooting, though. Never in shooting. One day. No, we have a good time together. The guys I hang out with, they're all exceptional shooters, and just being able to learn from those guys and have fun and hang out is plenty for me. I win every time I get to go to the range.
There you go.
Let's see. Charles Tiffy says PRS NRL is 85% mental. Beat the mental game and you'll perform well. I gotta agree with a lot of that. That's the reason why the more matches you go to, the more comfortable you feel. The less you're mentally stressed. Hold on a second, I'm gonna cough. The difference between when I shot Hornady, that PRC in Utah, which was my first match, probably one of the largest matches out there. Going there, not knowing anything, basically, having a great time, but mentally you were exhausted by half the day because you were stressed about trying to get, all your data, trying to figure out what the hell you're doing, and then a massive wind, which wasn't crazy wind, but it was quite a bit. So that's just almost too much to swallow the first time around. I think some people, back in the day we called it sink or swim. Basically, I dove in head first. I don't know if that's the best way to come at it. It makes it so every other match is a lot easier. But I don't know. Some people probably would like to learn the other way. Go to these baby small matches, kind of like the ones we've been going to, and then work your way up to something like that. Because I think I did horrible. A lot of it was me. A little bit of it was my rifle. But I learned a ton of stuff. And it was a good learning experience, I guess, since I did it that way. But I'm not saying it's the right way. I don't know. I guess it depends on the person. But man, I feel a lot more confident now going to matches.
There you go.
So I don't know.
Yeah, if you can get your equipment consistent and you know what's going on with your equipment. The shooting part, I think that really that becomes almost subconscious when you're at the match. Your target comes up and then the shooting happens on its own. It's thinking your way through the stage and your equipment that really hangs you up.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ramsey Country. Yeah, every time I rack the bolt, I'm like, is there even a bullet in this damn rifle? Every time. And then it'd be like, boom. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, there was one in there. Wow, all right, awesome.
Yeah.
Rack it again. I'm like, oh, it's going to work for sure. And it'd be click, and you're just like, oh. But it is what it is. A good learning experience, for sure.
Well, if you're shooting Elite 10X, you might get a click, and there's a bullet in the chamber anyway.
Yeah, I know. We talked about this. So you guys, Josh just put on got that new barrel put onto his rifle on his CZ.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it behind me.
What'd you end up going? 40 thousandths?
What's that?
What'd you end up going? 40 thousandths or something so you could run Ely 10X? What did you say it was? 40,000?
Yeah, so I'm at 40 thousandth headspace right now, which probably, if you're a rimfire guy, that probably sounds asinine to you. I started at 42, and the Lapua stuff was fine, but one out of every three would not extract when I shot Ely, which typically has a thinner rim anyway on the cartridge. So I took a thousandths out of it after talking to Dan from Lilja, and the problem got better, so I took another 1,000 out. Right now at 40,000, it's I don't think I could take another thousandths out of headspace and still be able to functionally shoot Lapua ammo because the rim thickness is larger.
Yeah, I had issues. Actually, I talked to a few people that have had issues, but shooting the RPR, that's when we started off. We started off with CCI standard velocity, had fun, shot bricks and bricks of this stuff over at Ray's. And that's the reason why we got into this 22 game, was just the enjoyment of shooting 22 rimfire. And we progressed. We decided to start going to a match. So then now we're shooting Ely 10X. This stuff that we were shooting was pretty old, probably been sitting around for a while, but the wax on this stuff was horrible. You could shoot one stage and a quarter, and then everything was gone, done. So you would really you weren't able to extract the bullet, and obviously the time's running, so you're fighting that thing and losing out on targets and stuff. So,
will you get kicked off the internet if I touch ammo on the live stream?
Ammo? Who knows nowadays? Hell, I can't even show a piece of steel.
Yeah, maybe I better not. But I've got some new lots of Ely 10X, and the wax is actually lighter.
Let's
not
see
as
it.
thick as the older stuff.
Let's do it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's get crazy.
Let's test it.
Let's see what happens. Just don't touch that stick over there. That awesome looking stick over there.
That's a Turkish walnut broom.
Yeah, those are neat too. They sweep up really well. They're awesome.
Yeah,
right.
So I'll try and get it as close as I can. But if you can see that, there's not much. Let's see if I can get the focus.
Yeah, put your hand behind it. Yeah, it looks better than the stuff we were shooting. There was a lot of white, like crustacean-y kind of stuff over the top, and it was definitely really waxy. Like if I was to do it all over again, I would use like a lighter or a blowtorch and like melt half that crap off of there before the match.
Well, it's the older 10X is what I see. I have some older stuff too. It's got more wax, but I don't know. As long as you got something that's lotted, that lot there. I'll try and get it in the camera. So if you look at 10X, it's kind of like Lapua. You can dissect it. So 10 is the signifier that it's 10X. 21 is the year of production. 03 is the machine that they ran it on. 008 is the batch off of that machine. And then the bottom number is across 4 barrels, an average of muzzle velocity.
Okay, 1051.
Yep. So that's probably a short barrel.
And that 1051, you're shooting actually 1083, I believe, out of it, right?
Yeah, 1083 on the magneto speed. So
Yeah, so for those of you, it's going to depend on the tolerances of the barrel and how long the barrel is, obviously,
yep.
and a few things. But just because it says, 1070, like a lot of boxes say.
Yeah.
Because on Center X, I'm shooting 1083 or 1085. So.
Yep.
So
I was going to
gives,
say pro tip, but that's probably misrepresenting it. An amateur tip would be if, with this day and age where you're not able to order a case of 10X, shoot it, and you find out it's great, by the time you order more, that lot's gone. You can't get that lot. So if you look at the speed, just use the speed as a basis of what a speed is that your gun likes. And then the same with Lapua. Try and, you can't match the lot number, but you can get ammo off of a number 3 machine in the same speed, and it's likely going to be as good in your gun.
Yeah. So Otter has a question. He says, voodoo question. You think one, or the only one, of the reasons the voodoo is the best in your opinion is how the projectiles are fed? They're an invention that no other 22 LR has. I would say it helps, Otter. If you guys aren't familiar, the voodoo does not push the bullet up onto a ramp and then into the chamber. It basically picks it up and brings it across, so there is no ramp. There's a few other rifles that do that as well. And I kind of want to, I wish Ray was on here right now. He had told me, and you know what? It was Orson. I think Orson's still out there. Orson, if you're still out there, let us know.
So I think that is a contributing factor to the voodoo success and accuracy. But if you think about it, it's no different than if I bought a single shot adapter for this thing and loaded it. Is it going to shoot like your voodoo all of a sudden? No. So, I mean, yeah, that helps because it's a huge benefit to the game of shooting out of a magazine without burring up or messing up your projectiles and getting that accuracy that you can, whatever you can out of the bullet. But I think that they're custom built rifles, why they're so accurate is that, they're custom fitting these barrels to the receivers. And then it's a combination of the whole gambit, not just the fact that they have a proprietary bolt design that doesn't ramp the bullet into the chamber.
Yeah, I think that definitely helps. I think my opinion, this is just my opinion, being a new shooter, right, is you really notice the voodoo when you get past like 175, 200 yards. Like when you start getting to targets past that is when, actually, a perfect story would be this. John Kreiderman and I went out and we shot at VOD the other day. You might have seen the video. And we were practicing positional shooting, doing some holdovers. And he did great until we got to a point of like 200 yards. And then he was here and here of the target a lot.
Yeah.
Same exact ammo. Ammo.
Was he shooting the RPR?
He was shooting the RPR.
That's why.
No, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is like the difference I see, just me, is, and the reason why a lot of people are really liking these, not only does it shoot a really tight group, up close, but you notice the accuracy is better than a lot of the production rifle stuff out there when it comes to the farther distances. 500 yards, 450-ish. That's where you're like, those numbers there, like the 22X, that's where I noticed the difference. That's where your money comes in. That.
I agree. That's what you're paying for in a Voodoo is the ELR 200 and out. The Voodoo really shines. I mean, it's a custom rifle, and I think a lot of that actually has to do with what they were talking about earlier. The bullet, the controlled feed into the chamber. The fact that bullet's not being scuffed is that you're able to retain that tiny amount of BC that a 22 long rifle has, and all that helps at distance. You know, if you got a bad BC bullet and now you've nicked the corner of the cone off of it and it's flying at 300 yards still, it's probably pretty crap at that point.
Yeah, Tyler Orth has a good question. He says, first he says he agrees with Josh, so obviously that can't be good. No, I'm just kidding. But he also says, what are your group sizes at 200 and 300? Just curious. And Tyler, to be honest with you, I don't even remember. We basically shoot steels. We don't bring any paper out to 300, or 400. But I just know they're tighter from shooting that rifle, which is I'm pointing at the Ruger RPR, and then also shooting it with the Voodoo, and there is definitely a difference. But I don't have a group size for you.
Yeah, I think the Voodoo, you can expect MOA at those distances. They're definitely capable of that with the right ammo, whereas a CZ may start to fall off. The RPR, all those Rugers are just that 1022 magazine is just terrible and super hard on those bullets. And I mean, if they could get away from that mag and just give those guys a like a SK, kind of mag to feed vertically or something and get out of that rotary magazine, that would probably increase the accuracy across the board on their RPR, Ruger Americans.
All right. Well, I will say this, and I am very interested in this. So, Charles is out. Let me make sure. Yeah. No, not Charles. Orson Humphrey. Orson Humphrey had contacted X-Ring, and they were talking about a semi-automatic Ruger 1022 concept, right? Not the actual Ruger 1022, but it does take Ruger 1022 mags. And supposedly, I need to figure out the website and stuff. Maybe you can send it to me, Orson. I really am interested in this. But there is, and it's on Sniper's Hide. There's people that have confirmed the data. And there is a manufacturer of a rifle, and the basically the owner that builds these custom 1022s, he says it'll smoke a Voodoo all day long. He doesn't say those words, but basically he's saying the Voodoos are junk. This thing will outperform it all day long.
Yeah, that's pretty controversial.
No, but there's actually a lot of information on Sniper's Hide, supposedly, that confirms that those groups are what they are. And
yeah,
maybe Orson can chime in.
I'm sure there's but what's the percentage of that? And my deal would be, we still use bolt guns for a reason. Bolt guns are inherently more accurate, and
I agree with what you're saying. That's why I'm very interested in this. Could you imagine how fast you could go through a stage if you actually could get a semi-auto, that whatever that rifle is, and run through it semi-auto and have better accuracy than a Voodoo? How amazing!
I mean, there's a ton of guys. We don't see a lot of them, but I've known a lot of guys and seen a lot of them in matches. As far as like videos and stuff, people running kid super grades, and they're more than accurate enough for our game. I'm not sure at ELR distances, but it's a semi-auto, and those things hammer. I mean, they're shooters.
Yeah. There's a husband and wife that shoot the last couple matches I've been to, and they're actually really cool. They travel all over the place. You met them, I think. Yeah,
I didn't really talk to them a whole lot, but I saw them.
But they travel around. But they
was asking, do we practice with match 22? So that's kind of funny because I practice with CCI Standard and you practice with Center X.
I practice with Center X, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that answer. I was going to get to it, so that's cool. I answered that. Six Strutter says, what about the scopes? What about the scopes? Oh, maybe the difference between the what's on the RPR and the and on the Voodoo?
Yeah. I mean, I've shot the RPR and the Ruger American, and the minute you close that bolt or strip around that magazine, you can feel where all your accuracy is lost.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
That's the crunchiest action I think I've ever felt.
That's because you're lucky to shoot a CZ. That's why.
Yeah.
Those are nice rifles, man. Let's see.
Yeah, I've got no complaints. Well, this my daughter's 457 next to me. It shot .2 and .3 bone stock from CZ with a 16.5-inch 16 twist barrel at one stock, and it shoots .2s, .3s as long as you put the right ammo in it. And 10 years ago, that wasn't something you could do with a factory rifle. You had to send it to this guy DJ in New York, and he would cut you a shilling barrel blank and chamber it for you and send it back.
Yeah. I'll let you answer this one, but I seen Ray swap out a couple, and it was super simple.
Yeah, so Charles, well, it'd be easier if I could show you, but if you pull the two action screws out, there's two screws on the bottom that index the barrel. They're just little Allen grub screws. They're set at about 20-something inch pounds. You back them out, and the barrel slips right off. So 90% of CZ forfeit is going to be pre-fits anyway. So you literally, two grub screws, pull the old barrel out, put the new barrel in, tighten the grub screws, good to go.
Philo asked, can you hear a 22 hit steel at 300 yards? I'll answer. If you're not shooting a match and there's no one else shooting, you could probably hear the ding, but it depends on how thick the steel is and all sorts of stuff and the wind and everything else. But if you're doing it during a match, no, you're going to have a guy spotting or somebody spotting, because unless it's nice and thin. If it's a big old freaking 3/4 inch plate or something, I don't think you're going to hear nothing.
Yeah. I'm not even sure a lot of those silhouettes past 300 moves. The dipstick targets we shot at ELR at the VOD, I don't even think they moved at 300.
Yeah. All I know is Chris did a great job of spotting stuff, because I was trying to help him spot, and I'm like, I didn't see it. And he was luckily he's right behind the shooter a lot better than I was, but man, I was having trouble spotting anything.
Yep. I was able to see a little bit of, the bullet travel in the air flight, which helped me a lot. But yeah, I mean, that was tough. I was trying to spot for about half of our squad, and I mean, I was nervous because, you're somebody's match score, and, those people go out there shoot. If they hit something, they want that hit called, and so I was kind of nervous about spotting for that stage.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're on binos. There is one good reason to have a spotting scope still, and it's for that.
Yep. Yeah, I use that Recon. I don't know if you've used those, but for rimfire, that thing is money. Like for a spotting scope, it's fixed power. It's Vortex Recon.
What's the power on it?
I think it's like 15 or 14 power. I'm not even sure it would tell me, but it's like really nice for rimfire. Yeah, I don't think I can see it from here.
All right, let's see. Tyler R says, I'm getting 2-inch 10-shot groups at 200. My video is 18-inch video. Getting 4.5 groups. Both shot 0.2 to 5. MOA at 50. Yeah.
Oh, you're saying the shorter bales grouping twice as large?
No, he's saying that, but he's saying that his, I think his Remex.
Oh, okay. I mean, 4 inches, I wouldn't complain about 4 inches at 200 yards, no matter what the gun. But a Voodoo, I've seen a lot of Voodoos that will shoot those 2-inch groups at 200 yards, like he says.
Let's see here. Orson says it was more of he said he finds lots of inconsistencies in Voodoo when replacing barrels and blueprinting. His name is Joe Chacon. He runs Auto Interest Association. I want a Voodoo. Well, if you don't have one on your way, Orson, Altus in Florida is getting a shipment of them in, because I just got 2 sent out to us.
I mean, the thing about the Voodoo is that if you get a Voodoo and it doesn't shoot, you just send it back to Voodoo.
You're like, what the hell's wrong with this thing?
Yeah, I mean, you're buying a custom rifle. I mean, so it's not like you're not an idiot and bought a $800 CZ MTR, and then if I bought it, it didn't shoot, CZ doesn't give a crap. It's just, that's on me.
Oh, Commando 97 says it's a 15 power.
Oh, the Recon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Let's see. You will have to change the trigger, though. Six Creator says his, what the hell is it? This is Bergara.
Oh, the Bergara?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too, that the stock trigger is pretty junk. But, I mean, it's a 700 footprint, so, why would you keep the stock trigger on it anyway, I guess?
Well, that's the problem, though. If you're going to shoot production, would that even be a production gun? Would you be able to put a scope on that and stay under, I don't know what the MSRP is on those. Would that be an option?
You could for PRS 22. You'd have to, yeah, you could put an Arkin on it for PRS 22, because I think you could get that Arkin SH4 and the Bergara for under the cap.
Okay. Yeah, so then you couldn't change the trigger out, though.
No, but I don't think the guys buying Bergaras don't run them in production. I mean, they all run. I don't think I've seen one in production. They all shoot open with those guns.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Bergara in the rimfire, realm is like, that's like the voodoo killer, kind of thing. It's the affordable option, and then you'll see a bunch of controversial stuff about them too. Whereas the Bergara is just as good as a voodoo. Blah blah blah.
Thanks, Charles, for sending that link. Joe Bender says, "What's the best scope?" Yeah. What's funny is I know a Joe Bender that I grew up in school with. I'm pretty sure it's probably not him, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but that scope I think is whatever the most money you can put in the glass for that. Because it all depends. If you start off with a $400 rifle, you can put $1,100 optic. If you start off with a $1,000 rifle, you can only put a $400 optic. So whatever you can fill the rest of that with. But I mean, most of the time it's probably going to be Athlon. You're probably not going to find many Vortex options that are worth putting on for the money in that price range. But I would say Athlon, Arkin. I really hate that Diamondback Tactical, man. I know you got the Vortex sign up there, but God, I hate those scopes.
Yeah, they're an option. I mean, it just depends on what type of price range you're looking at. And
yeah, if you're a mathematician who doesn't mind crappy glass and doing algebraic equations on the fly while you're shooting a stage, then you might want to buy a Diamondback Tactical.
Well, I will tell you that it dialing to 6, or basically, is it 5 or 6? I need to know now.
I think it's 6. 6 is a 0, so it's 5.
Yeah, 6 is the 0. 5, yeah.
That's not meant for stupid people like us.
No, I was like, holy hell, let's see, what am I... Oh, shit. I even put blue tape on the top of the turret and then put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 around it and still just sucked ass at it.
Yeah. Well, it has no elevation travel either. It really doesn't have very much mill travel vertically. So like, I got a 30 MOA rail and I couldn't even dial to the first, I think it was 300 yards. I couldn't even dial to 300. I was holding at that point.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy, cat. Get out of here.
Yeah, so Tyler's saying that... Well, Tyler, I'm going to be able to compare the 18 and the 20-inch Voodoo. I got 20 should be here in a few days, so when we get back from the match, I'm going to try to do some testing.
So I know that... most of the Voodoo guys and a lot of those guys that shoot bench rest shoot longer barrels, because I think that's already kind of been proofed out that the longer barrel will net you better SDs. In our game, if that matters, I don't know. But I noticed on the same lot of ammo across the 16.5-inch 457 versus my 21-inch Wilja or the 20-inch factory barrel, I get tighter SDs across the magneto speed for the same ammo.
Okay. Nice, good to know. All right, for those of you guys out there that have swapped out triggers, tell me what your favorite trigger is, and then tell me if you prefer a flat shoe or curved. I just want to get a
Trigger time. Sponsored by Trigger Tech.
Sponsored by Trigger Tech. Yeah, I'd love to hear your comments. See, Michigan Watch says the best thing Get my AR-15 22 to shoot is a silver dollar group, but that's using Federal and Arms Corps. At 100 yards with a sight mark. There you go. Ba-bam. Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. I love the fact that you can, 22 ARs exist. I think for training purposes, especially, I like the conversion kit because now you're running the same thing you would be running in 3-gun, or maybe you're doing tactical defensive home clearing stuff, and you're not having to burn through all your good 5.56, 223, because especially right now, my gosh, stuff's like gold. So yeah, huge
Drew was
fan.
asking what type of brand of rifle cleaning solutions I use, and I like Vortex, so I use the Vortex rod, their Jag, their rimfire solution. I use all their stuff. I think it's worth the cost, and to me, I don't know. I'm not a bore snake guy, so it kind of puts me out of that realm.
Yeah, and I don't think I honestly don't think those should even be. Those should be in a kit for when you're rucking, and for some reason you stuck it in the mud or something, like just like a emergency, like last ditch effort kind of thing. I don't think the bore snake is great as a rod and doing it. I don't know. Let's just call it the conventional way.
Yeah. There's a whole big deal about cleaning too. There's I've seen videos of guys who say they never clean their rifle, and they're 22s, and then people cleaning regiments. I don't know. I like to tinker, so I like to clean my stuff, and I'm always testing new ammo, so I like to start with a fresh bore, and I'm in my rifle bore probably way more than anybody else is, so if there's any idiot out there who could screw up his own chamber or crown, it's probably me, so I use the expensive stuff to make sure I don't.
Yeah, most of the time, ladies and gents, accuracy lost is due to us screwing up the crown. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're not burning out a 22 long rifle barrel. We are jacking up the crown and basically losing accuracy. So nylon brushes are huge. I would not use brass, steel of any sort. I still use Hops number 9. I know Vortex. Love Vortex for cleaning out copper, removing copper from a lot of the centerfire stuff. But accuracy is messed up by us. I think not that little 22 that's just kind of jumping out of that barrel. We're not heating the barrels up, jacking them all up. We're jamming rods in there and screwing our own crowns up and messing up our own stuff. So
yeah,
when you got a drill at the end of your rod and you're just running it down like this with a DeWalt, that's bad. That's really bad. I'm gonna get this thing so clean. I gotta get these I got these marks in there, Josh, that I just got to get rid of. There's these things in there, like big scratches that I got to get rid of.
Yeah.
You know those scratches in there?
Yeah, they're almost wore grooves in the barrel.
So I got to get those out of there.
Yeah.
That way, my barrel shoots more accurately. Charles Tiffy says, if the Diamondback had a 0 stop, which, that would have helped me out on one stage. That would have helped. But honestly, but Big Country had let us borrow a scope, and those being at the same price range, basically, I think, what was that scope? Do you remember?
They can't compete with the Arkin.
Yeah, it was so much better. The turrets go up to 10. Was it 10 or 8?
It's 10, I think. Or 10? No, I think it's 8.
Yeah,
but those guys purposely built that scope to take that market, and they did it. I mean, $500 and lower, there's no reason to buy an Athlon Argos at this point. You're just going to buy an Arkin, and then I think Athlon still holds probably that intermediate market in between the 500 and 900. But yeah, the Arkin guys, they killed it with that scope for $400. I mean, that's crazy.
Big Country says, Get a 1022 bore guide for your bull barrel to protect the crown. Goes over the muzzle end. I haven't seen one. I go from the muzzle out, not the muzzle out, the chamber out when I clean. I do have a bore guide, but is he saying to go the other way? Or
maybe he's just talking about when you're pulling back through the past the crown.
Oh,
Maybe
see, I won't go I'll go past it with a patch, and then I'll take the end off. But if I'm running a nylon brush, even on the Voodoo website, they run a nylon brush, but they won't let it go all the way out. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, that way it keeps it kind of centered in the bore for you.
You can't, according to, well, I would assume, it's just basically so you don't go all the way out and then catch the crown, on the end with the threads kind of deal. So if you just go out, but you're still in there a little bit, one less way to screw it up, I guess.
Yeah, I unscrew my jag and the brush at the end.
Yeah.
Mostly just because I can't afford to buy more lilages.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The Arkin SH4. There it is. Yeah, it's 8. Big Country says. Thanks, Big Country. Again, appreciate
it's still a nice scope.
It is.
I mean,
I'd rather have it than that one.
Yeah, I think it beats the Diamondbacks on everything. Even if you throw a zero stop on the Diamondback, wouldn't matter. The turrets are better, the glass is better. I think it has more internal adjustment on the mill. I mean, it beats it everywhere.
Applied Performance says for 22 PRS, what's a good barrel length to use? There's a lot of 18s, a lot of 20s. There's guys that are getting out to 22s and now running 1 to 9s. I don't know if they're even officially, like, a lot of them out there yet. I have an 18 and a 20. Most guys I know are running 18s right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your answer on that, Josh?
I don't think I really, to me, the barrel length isn't really much of a factor for PRS 22. The Lilja was 21 because that's how they made it. I wouldn't have chose 21, but to me, I mean, I don't know, a 16.5-inch barrel to me is fine, but I don't know. I guess that depends on you. 16.5-inch I like for the youth guns. They're a little easier to tote, so maybe if you're older or a little younger, if you're small frame, maybe you want that 16.5 to keep the weight down. If you don't mind the weight, then the more weight you can get on the front end of it, probably the better off you are, because most of our rifles are all in balance towards the rear. So
let's see. There's a question out here. What up, Hesaw says, don't forget Otter's question on the CZ. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, yeah, I must admit, the chat covers up the entire video for me, so I'm kind of going back and forth.
Plastic brush below. Yeah, it's a nylon brush. Let's see. I'm looking for that question.
Yeah,
Otter, here it is.
Yeah, there it is.
You see it? CZ 457 LRP tactical. Any good?
So I know a lot of people who have gotten those and have really good results. Honestly, from what I've seen, it doesn't outshoot what I've shot out of this at one. Realistically, I think just like with everything else, try and figure out what your end goal is. It's probably not a good production rifle because you can't put any scope on it. So if it were me, if I was going to do everything all over again and build an open gun, then buy the cheapest 457 you can, and then put your own barrel on it and chassis it and go shoot. If you want a production gun, stay with the @1 or at most the MTR. But I mean, it's a nice stock. It's a good deal for the money. I mean, I don't know if you've seen those, Rick, but those things are, I think they have a Manor stock on them, and they've got the same MTR, the match barrel, and it's fluted. I mean, it's a good value.
That's the trainer, right?
Yeah, it's a long range precision trainer, I think is what they call it.
Yeah,
they got so many of them now.
Tony shoots one of those in a Manor stock. The one stock at least the one Manors that he has that it came with, it doesn't. You don't have any adjustability.
No, yeah.
Which sucks ass. That's like the
They
worst
dropped the
part
ball
of
on that, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why would you build such an awesome rifle and then forget to do this? I'm going back to the questions about the triggers. There's a lot of flat shoe freaking people. That's awesome. I don't know. I truly, I have 2 trigger techs coming, and they're both flat. The reason why is I'm trying to match the one up with the one that's in my 6 Creedmoor. Guys, still at the end of the day, even though I don't like shooting center fire anymore because it's loud and obnoxious and expensive and can't even reload stuff right now, but I want to be able to be consistent across the boards, whether it's center fire, rim fire, kind of run the same stuff. So everything like stock, the length of pull's the same. I'm going to try to see about making the weight of my rifle the same as my 6 Creedmoor, and I'm going to kind of probably wish I didn't just because it's a heavy-ass rifle. But the point is to try to pretend all this practicing will cross over a little bit into my center fire game. That was the whole point of shooting 22 long rifle, but now I'm enjoying the 22
now you're going to start selling big bore guns if you buy more 22 stuff.
Yeah, I hope not, but yeah.
Drew was asking, I assume you're talking about the CZs, but I do absolutely no internal anything to the 457s. The action is super slick you get about 10 rounds through it and then clean it and it's good to go. I wouldn't even mess with anything, honestly.
Stratos 27, great question. Ricky getting used to the Matrix chassis. He just got his MPA Comp BA from Altus yesterday. Awesome for his Bagara. The only time I really notice a difference is when I'm transitioning from position to position. So, like if I'm in a weird angle and the gun's heavy, I'll wrap my thumb around it where normally it's on the side, right? But I'm wrapping my thumb around it to get a little more leverage so I can lift it up and transfer it to the next position or whatever. I really like the Matrix. I'm not sure I don't know if I'm 100% glad I got it yet or not. Like, I like a lot of stuff about it. And I've done a lot of customizing to it, unfortunately. I will say, if you're going to get a Matrix, maybe you already have one, but if you're thinking about buying a Matrix or any of those MPA chassis, I notice it on the Matrix when you go to raise the cheek heights to what you want, so that you're getting a nice, clean reticle, no black, and you're pressing your cheek on there just like you would shooting. The height that I had it at, I couldn't set the set screws. The 2 posts were too high, so you couldn't lock it in. So it's basically on the center. I can't really show you guys because but you know what I'm saying? There's the 2 posts that go up and down, and then there's a screw one in the middle where you crank it sideways and it would grow or, retract kind of deal. When I got it to where I actually liked it, that height, the only thing that was really holding it was the center screw, and these were just sitting in here, and I couldn't set the 2 pins where, sort of lock it in. It was below the post. So I was like, this is a bunch of bullshit. So I went to Lowe's. I pulled off that nice pad, the little tiny thin pad, unscrewed everything, went over to Lowe's and basically had to customize it to make it a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches longer so it would actually go in. I brought the pad up, but the other part I could lower where I could actually get the pins in there. So that's a bunch of crap. So they need to figure that out. I'm not a huge guy with big cheeks, right? And I'm not like a super skinny, crack baby either. So it's like I'm pretty normal, I guess. is what I'm trying to get at. And when I have to manipulate and take stuff to Lowe's in order to figure out how to get it to lock in, they didn't do very well on that portion. Just my thoughts. Yeah, see, Big Country says the same thing. This is something that as people are shooting these before they're sent out to people, even like if some YouTube reviewers were to review it, those would be the things that they should figure out ahead of time before they make them and send them to everybody. Because I'm like, I shouldn't have to go to Home Depot and Lowe's to fix my brand new, I think it was like $1,200 for the chassis. It's like, shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous.
It is. I mean, I like MPA a lot. I like what this stuff they have. I got a couple different chassis, but I'm just like, I shouldn't have to be doing this right now.
I'd be controversial for a minute.
You can be whatever you want.
I'm just curious because I think we got a big pool of guys who are obviously have nice rifles and equipment. So I'm obviously not a chassis guy. I just shoot kind of the stocks. But for you guys out there in the chat, what do you think is your benefit to be had from the chassis versus a stock? And especially if you don't shoot big gun in a chassis. So I 100% get if you're a chassis 700 guy on your big gun and you want to make your 22 like that. I'm just kind of curious because it's something that I went back and forth on a lot, like trying to figure out for the money spent, how far on the latter side of that diminishing returns is it?
They'll give you some good answers out there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, you got some viewer mail?
I do.
Nice.
I can't show, obviously, the name, but he's here. So, Carrie Emery, thank you. I did get the package in the mail. I have not done this yet. So, he gave me a note that said, you have 90 seconds to shoot high score. So it's kind of cool. So I believe he had designed these targets. The thing I need to know before I go and do this test. So you guys can see this. This is you got this target.
Oh, nice hostage target.
Yeah, and what's kind of cool about it is there's a +10 and a -10. So that's the hostage, obviously. See, here's a +10, +10, and so on, but they get tighter and tighter. Oops, going the wrong way. So how many shots per, do you get one shot per target? Like that's one shot, that's one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot? Or am I supposed to shoot them twice?
I think you get the sighters as the top circle, and then I think you get one shot per hostage target, and so it's either a plus or minus number. I've seen some guys shooting that on Facebook.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
So is it one shot?
Pretty cool target. Yeah, they were shooting one shot per hostage target, but I think that circle they were using as a sighter thing, and I think on the group they were like unlimited sighters, but then you had to shoot the course of fire, and some people were like per time or whatever, but one shot per hostage.
And it's what, off of bipod prone or one shot? What?
I think most of the stipulation was just 50 yards, and you got to use like a bipod in the bag. You can't use I don't think they want you to use a bench rest style rig or anything like that. So I think you could be fine
shooting.
Yeah,
I'm going to piss a bunch of people off, and that's not shooting.
Yeah.
That's watching somebody shoot for you.
That's a reloading competition, remember?
Oh, that's right. That's what I called it before.
Yeah.
Who can make the best reloads?
Yeah.
Now, if you're a bench rush shooter, I'm just joshing with you. See that? I got a josh in there. See that? I'm just joshing with you.
So it's politically correct.
Yeah. As long as you say in due respect, right?
That's right. Yep.
You can say whatever you want. So, in due respect. Where do you guys zero the 22s? Where do you guys zero the 22s? At 50 yards. Center fire stuff at 100. 22 long rifle at 50 yards. Hostage target. All right. Applied performance 50 yards. Charles Tiffy says. Sort of sniper hunter. I believe Josh is a computer shooter at VOD. Oh, competitor shooter. Competitor.
Oh.
What the hell does that say?
Well, I'm not very competitive, but I'm a shooter.
Oh, you're competitive. I know you're competitive. I can tell you're going to be a pain in my ass. That's what I can tell.
No, I'm competitive in the sense I don't like to lose, but I'm not competitive in the sense that I always freaking lose.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I think someone had asked if I was one of your viewers, but yeah, actually, you guys and John Cole are the reason that I'm probably shooting 22 right now. So I think, you know, as that rolls, you probably owe me Center X or something.
Yeah, keep trying, buddy. This target. They had asked the name of it. Oh, it's right here, actually. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. See if you can see that. Hopefully that's enough time. He is a competitor, though. Actually,
yeah,
we never even got to talk about what you're actually good at.
No, well, I'm not very good at much.
Juggling apples, or I mean, yeah. No. I think Mr. Josh here might be. We haven't had a chance to talk about this because you never got on. I remember I had some questions
I never got
for
on
you.
The show. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. So let's. So what's your background, Josh? Let's give the folks out there. Now look at this hat, Josh. Is this just a badass hat or what?
That's a pretty nice damn hat.
Look at that. Bam. This is a trucker style.
There you go.
I found one of these in my drawer yesterday. So, any background information you want to tell us about or nothing?
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, you don't have to, but.
No, I don't mind. So I actually have, as far as competitive shooting, I have an extremely limited experience in competitive shooting. I didn't start being competitive and taking shooting seriously as a sport until probably the last 6 years. So right around the time I turned 30, I grew up with guns my whole life, rimfires. I've always loved rimfires. About 8 years ago, I bought a CZ 455 and had that done by DJ out of New York. And I did some bench rest type shooting. It wasn't really a bench rest match, but it was like falling steel at known distance. I did that for a little bit, and I got kind of bored. Nobody was shooting that back then because center fire and pistol stuff was so good. So I had everybody shooting 3-gun, so I want to try and shoot 3-gun. And so I got a handgun, and I went out and started practicing, and I realized that I sucked at shooting a handgun. And so I spent the next probably 2 or 3 years focusing on just handgun stuff, and had a deployment in between then and had a baby in between there. So I had a long split, but so I did a lot of USPSA shooting before the primer shortage. I had just come back off the deployment and started shooting carry optics, and was on my way. I was hoping to have my master class in that by the end of last year, but the primer shortage kind of derailed that, so I never made the master class. But yeah, and then I shot one PRS 22 match now, but I've been doing the rimfire thing for probably 10, 15 years, I guess, from just plinking to accuracy type stuff, and I'm just drawn into anything competitive and anything that has like accuracy potential. So I love rimfire for the complexity of it, and now it's really competitive, and to me that's just kind of reeled me in.
Nice, very nice. So Ryan Berg, MPA side rail. If you're asking about the Arca Swiss rail, which God, I can't show anything on here anymore. Actually, I got a tactical YouTube gun is it's in the car, so I don't even have that piece of wood with the scope.
You need to show them one of these or whatever.
Yeah, let's do that. So on the MPA chassis, the MDTs, the XLRs, a lot of different ones. I think even maybe the Manners. That section, turn it sideways so you can see the crack. No, yeah, the rail right there. That's where the attachment, a lot of the attachments are. So the bonus to that is you can bring your bipod way back, way up front. So depending on stability, or if you need to be like in a more of a compact section, say you're on like a big barrel or something, there's a lot more you can do with that. But those chassis that I just talked about, along with a lot of other ones, actually have that Arca rail built into it as well. I have that same one, Josh, on my actually it's not on there right now, but that I run with my Tika. Works great.
Yeah, I bought for the, I don't know, probably don't want to get into all that, but for my experiment that we've talked about before, I've got a third one. That's what that's going to go on, and another MTR chassis. So, or chassis, it's a stock.
Gotcha. Can you show squirt guns? Probably not anymore, Pistol Pete. I don't know if you were here that day, but I got actually YouTube shut down the video because we were showing a piece of aluminum. We were showing chassis with no action or barrel, and those evil
That's
aluminum pieces are scary, so they shut us down. I zeroed
Michigan Watch said he zeroes his guns at 36 yards.
I wonder if he's talking about the 36-yard zero for like AR stuff.
Yeah.
If we tried to zero at 36 yards, I think when it comes to those matches, we'd be, I don't know if that would work out very well for us or not, especially at the farther distances.
I don't think it would, if you think you're only probably 2/10 high at 35 yards, so I mean it shouldn't change anything, because when the scope gets bolted onto the rail, I mean the scope is where it is and the elevation travel you have is what it is. So as long as you don't have to go down an MOA rail size to accommodate the zero, it probably really shouldn't, I guess, matter where you zero.
Yeah, but most of those, like a lot of those targets are right at 50.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
the small stuff.
Yep. Which I found, I don't know if you have the same experience, and I won't touch it right now, but 90% of the optics that I've had on most of my stuff with the Area 419 30 MOA rail, I don't even need a zero stop, because I basically only have like at most 7 mils travel down the turret after my zero at 50 yards anyway, before it bottoms out. So
7 mils?
Yeah, like a max. So I think on the new Aries, I think I have like 6 mils that I can go past my zero at 50 before it bottoms out the turrets, and I think on my daughter's Midas TAC, it's only like 5 mils.
Huh.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like with a 30 MOA rail and the adjustment that those scopes have in them anyway, you don't even really need the zero stop, which they have a good zero stop anyway. Some of the zero stops out there limit your overall internal travel.
Yeah, that was one of the things Chris had said on that US Optics when I was talking to him. He doesn't run a zero stop, and the reason why is he gets a lot more elevation, or he has the ability to dial way more. So like at 500 yards on a rimfire, he can actually dial all that instead of having to hold over in the reticle. I know, I was like, man, that's an idea. And then I'm thinking, he actually has to mark it on the scope. He's actually talked to US Optics like, hey, why don't you have some type of something in here so we can figure out what rotation we're on. He actually scars it or marks it. So as you're cranking it up, you're starting to see different lines, and you can go back down to what he considers his zero. But yeah, I'm like, man, you can dial out to 500 yards like that. That is actually really nice. But
yeah, they have a ton of internal adjustment. They're crazy.
Let's see. It's a side rail to add width. Oh, Ryan, yeah. I actually ordered 2 of those. I haven't got them yet. I ordered one for the for the MPA, the hybrid, the BA, and then I have one for the Matrix coming. I actually got the weights in, and those weights are made by Gray Ops, and they fit inside of the thing because they're not the same exterior weights, but those haven't shown up yet. So.
Oh, you're gonna like this, Rick. Oh, I can't show you. I was gonna show you. They probably shut the video off, but part of that chassis stuff I was talking about earlier is one of the benefits to having the wood stock is that instead of having to order like chassis weights and go through Gray Ops, is I'm actually just milling holes in the bottom side of the barrel channel, and then I'm just putting like tire wheel weights in them, and then epoxying over it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you really could just melt down a bunch of lead weight and make it the same square. You know, for those of you guys, I'm sure all know, but when you start ordering weight for your chassis, you're looking at, you know, depending on the manufacturer, a couple $100. You know, $195 to hell $300 and something dollars, depending on which weights you're getting in. If you're getting the whole kind of set, it's a lot of money for. I'm just going to call it lead. I don't even know what they make it out of, but
Yeah. Yep.
MPA has new side rails that make the chassis wider. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm probably not going to run the plates anymore. That one right here. I notice I'm doing okay shooting with the fortune cookie and just running the regular, you know, the chassis on the bag. And I've been trying to ditch this thing, and this is just Area 419. I think it's called the X or something. But
yeah, Rail Changer X.
Yeah,
you can let me get it.
Works really good, but I'm trying to get rid of stuff. So like less stuff to deal with. So I'm going to go with those rails because it's not going to be stuff. It'll be attached to the rifle like officially. And then just run it with the bag and call it good. It'll give me a little more weight up front. And like I said, I want to try to match one up the 20-inch barrel with the 6 Creedmoor. So it'll be weighing about the same weight. That's with the Maverick. With the Maverick chassis. So we'll see how it works. I may hate it because it's so heavy, but we'll see.
The real question is, did you get the tricorn yet?
Nope. I'm going to try it when...
You are, yeah. That thing's awesome, man.
I'm going to try it out. See what happens. Pure gold. What's Ryan talking about? Yeah, I need to start lifting. Yeah, that's my problem. I need to start lifting weights. See, I talked to the guys at Vortex to make the 57 MOA rail for the Razor that is perfectly made to get all the travel of scope without shadowing. Pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Orson, I think, aren't you shooting with us on the next VOD match, I believe? We're going to be squatted up together. I thought I heard.
Yeah, he's in our squad out there. It's he's shooting the what's that action called? Summit action?
I think so. The one that we saw the other day, the
the one you guys did the video on.
Yeah. I think he is. He might have his voodoo by then. Who knows? We'll see. I know he wants to get one. Let's see. It looks like
everybody's going to have backup voodoos and Bergaras. I might just show up to the match without a rifle.
There you go. Here you go, buddy. Here's some Remington, what is that, 555? 22 long rifle ammo you can use?
Yeah. Yeah. I got some Federal bolt pack up there for you.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Larry Funk says, looks like 36 yard zero pretty much eliminates possibility of needing to dial or hold negative drop. Yeah, I haven't seen a target yet that's
I guess so.
36.
But you shoot at targets below 50 so minimally that dialing down 0.2 of a mil, and like you said, just hold the target. I mean, it's so negligible from 30 to 50. Unless you're shooting a 1/4 inch target, it doesn't really matter, I don't think.
Yeah. That's just like when we shot from the 10-story. We were at GTI shooting center fire stuff with that Sniper's Unknown, and everybody's like, they were worried about the the
angle.
slope, the angle on it.
Yeah.
It ended up being like 3/4 to a 1 inch. So I was like, just shoot the damn target.
Yeah, because it's actually the distance for the ballistics need to be from point to point, not from like all the crazy math.
Yeah, it wasn't. It ended up being basically didn't matter.
Negligible. Yeah.
Yeah, negligible. You can stack them 3 high and cut them to fit. It's actually meant to be the cost. What's Tyler talking about here? Oh, you won't need it anymore once those side rails come on. Yeah. And I thought it would be a good idea to try it out. That way I could do a review on it as well. But I was looking at it. Only thing I've been able to I haven't been able to touch one, see if I really like it. But it is cool because it has like the way it's shaped. It has like where you can put your hand around it and get a good grip on it. So it's kind of nice. So we'll see how it works out. Just weighed my gun and it's 21 pounds even. How the hell did you get it to 27? Let's see. No, I never said. I don't know if he's talking to me. He's probably talking to Big Country or somebody. Not Big Country.
About the 27 pounds?
Yeah, I don't have it. That thing better not be 27 pounds.
There's
I don't have
Voodoos that weigh 25 to 28 pounds out there.
Yeah, see, I don't want to carry that much weight.
Yeah, especially if you got to hold it up and do any positional shooting with it. I mean, good God.
Yeah. You're like, I'll just take a 0. I should have worked out. Let's see. Reports say mostly Voodoo Mag and a Bagara works. Usually, mostly no on the Bagara and Voodoo.
Well, I don't know. Voodoo Mag's barely working Voodoo, so what's the chances of going
Voodoo Mags work great in Voodoos. It's when you put them in XLR chassis.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Now, let's see. Bill Sweeney has a Bagara, I think. Yeah. He has the Bagara, and the Bagara, I guess, only comes... I guess the best you can get it in is a 10-round magazine or something like that. And there was a couple stages, or maybe it's 9, or it's some weird oddball thing. So he always has to do a mag change. And he thought that he could use my magazine, so I gave him one to try, but it wouldn't fit in the action. So
yeah, I thought the Bergaras were 10. Like I thought you got a 10-round mag with it. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. The one he has, for some reason, it's maybe there was a couple 12-round stages or something, but
oh yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, I got those little extensions for the CZ just because of that,
Tyler Orr's talking about the duck weights.
Y'all always hating on my little CZ AK mags.
I just hate those things. Yeah. I go to bed at night going, man, those are the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
But they feed all the time. That's the thing about them. Those things are great, man. And I
can have something to complain about
in my pocket.
I know. Like, hell, probably more than that. I will say that's a bonus. Actually, Ray has that little mag. You can basically keep it on the left side of the rifle, kind of like we would on the right side of the rifle for +2,
Yeah. See, I do the same thing. I just keep it on the it's on the right side because that's the hand that I grab my mag with. So I guess that's just kind of like preference. Right. But yeah, I run those too, and they're nice. And little tiny mag fits on the side of your gun. Doesn't get in the way.
Just a little baby guy. It's just hard finding the mag well. I shot. Who's did I shoot the other?
It is hard. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Six Creeder says, but the Bagara mags are $32.
Yeah.
That's a good point, but. Hell, if you already spent that much money, what the hell's another $100?
Yeah. Shit, that may be what CZ mags cost. I haven't bought them in a while, but last time I did, I was kind of shocked at what they wanted for that little bitty 10-round plastic magazine.
All right. Got a question from Drew Bradley out there. asking you, what was one of Josh's coolest or funniest setups at a competition? Stuff like tank traps, or that floating table, logs, wedges, shooting from inside of the vehicle, etc.
Well, I haven't got to shoot from inside of a vehicle for the rifle stuff yet, but I have everything else you mentioned except for that boat or the floating table. And so I actually enjoyed that. I bombed that stage. I shot it like an idiot. And when these guys did their match review, everything they said that you shouldn't do is exactly what I did. But I still had a blast, even though I lost. I think I dropped like 4 hits on that one stage.
And you still won production. That's good.
Well,
Congratulations, Josh.
see, if I'd been shooting the right bullets at the last stage, I may have placed a little bit higher overall.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have fun shooting the open. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm happy I made the move. I mean, after I shot that first match, and there's not very many production shooters, and like once I figured out that I could, at least finish in the top half of the pack with the production, I was like, yeah, time to go shoot and with the big boys and see if I can knock Rick and Ray down on the standings a point or two.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see you get out there and just kick my ass. I'm just saying that to be nice. I would be very sad, but
Yeah.
it's probably going to happen because I still got a long way to learn. Orson
Wow.
Humphrey. When you go to VOD and you're signed up on our squad, anything I got you can use, man. Just make sure I get it back. Between different bags, if you want to try whatever we got, between the three of us, there's a lot of stuff you can try out. So don't be afraid to ask or just grab it from the bag or whatever,
Except for my stuff. You can't have any of my stuff, Orson. Don't even think about it.
Orson's going to take you down. He's taking your ass down. That's why you're worried about it. That's why.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't like people like you, Josh. You're supposed to be
Look,
progress.
I'm too far the other way. I lend out so much stuff. I actually lost 2 of my bags for like 3 stages in the match until I randomly found them with like other shooters.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's why Ray always laughs at me. But I don't do this because people are stealing my crap. That's a 6, by the way.
Yeah, you gotta find it.
Yeah, it's easier to spot. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. There's one of my mags over there, and it just makes it a lot easier.
My problem is I keep buying used gear, and apparently everybody in the world writes their name on the handle strap of a Game Changer. And so
I have mine on there.
I probably look like a thief because people are like wondering whose Game Changer it is, and I go up pick it up there, and it's some crazy name.
Yeah, it says Fred on it, and they're all,
Yeah.
that guy's name's Josh. What the hell? Yeah, Orson, I'm excited for you, buddy. I'm excited not just to have fun and meet up with you. I've met a lot of people. Well, Josh is one of them. That's been on the chat or out in the comments section, and then they'll be like, "Hey," and then they show up and we hang out and BS for a little while and have a good day of shooting. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I met you guys actually under obligation because I was actually talking crap about Ray in the comments on his YouTube channel, and then when I saw him at the match, I was like, well, at least better let him know it was me talking crap about him.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hit it off with Josh because he came over and was shit talking, and I'm like, I like this guy. Let's see. So Tyler Orr says, let's talk dope validation with the Kestrel, given the very
Nice.
intense. How are you guys handling this for comps? So the cornfield, you guys probably heard of the cornfield. Well, you usually go out and just confirm everything. Confirm the Kestrel. Those of you that were watching the chat last time we talked about Kestrel, I had downloaded the new version. All my stuff was gone, deleted. So my 6.5 Creedmoor was gone. My 6 Creedmoor was gone. My Voodoo was gone. So it was a start over thing. So luckily, Matt P and Ray. We're all shooting basically the same thing with the same ammo. So a lot of everything is the same when it comes to like feet per second. So we were at 1085 or 3. I can't remember. It's right around what Josh had. I think it was 1085.
Yeah.
We were 2 feet per second faster. But once you put in everything, we did the custom. What the hell they
DSF?
call? Yeah, well, the DSF, but when you go under and you can find the stuff and be like a G1, G7, or you can do
or the custom drag, yeah.
Yeah, the custom drag model. We did the custom drag model, and then basically just punched in the height over bore and all the normal crap that you have to put in, and then confirm it. So we'll start at 50, get a 0, a nice good 0, back it up to 100. And okay, so I spin the Kestrel around. I guess this was the question. Say it says 1 mil at a certain distance, and we shoot, and it's 0.8 of a mil or something, right? And we keep hitting in the same spot, and it's really showing we're pulling. We're nice and stable, and we're breaking nice clean shots, but we're 2 inches high or 2 inches low of what it's saying. This is where you're going to start changing stuff, but usually we do that once we get out past 150, and then start messing with the DSF. So now this isn't messing up everything from 50, basically 0 to whatever said number, where you start tweaking with the DSF. So say you start messing with the DSF, and it says, let's say it says, 5.0 mils at a certain distance. You're shooting and you're like, half mil low. So you start messing with it. Now I'm hitting center impact, and it's 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and it's just drilling it at that. That's where you would go in, basically go all the way to DSF, change it, and then you would confirm it, and now your Kestrel is set up for your rifle, basically. And usually between the 3 rifles that we have, Matt and Ray's are like almost perfectly spot on, and mine is like 1/10 usually off compared to what they have. So you could use their dope for the most part, unless I'm trying to hit, a gnat's ass at, a certain distance. But are you setting the DSF staying accurate as temperatures rise? Let's say it's 40 degrees in the AM and 65 degrees. Tyler Orth, this answer, I'm not sure. Josh, I don't think it's going to matter. It's going to be to your rifle. So no matter what it is, when you respin it up live, and I could be wrong, I don't know. This answer, I'm going to officially say, I'm not going to give you an answer. But as you push live, you get another environmental, you hit lock. All that stuff should do its calculations. Yeah. So it should do it on its own. I think
with mine, because the last BOD match we shot, I saw similar distances in the evening that I shot earlier in the day, and just having it on live, the Kestrel already figured out, and they were pretty minor. I mean, it wasn't like anything earth-shattering, but I think the Kestrel, if you're doing everything live, as far as you're getting your dope live, and then you're using it throughout the day live, the Kestrel is going to give you the dope for the temperature change anyway.
And then
I think the DSF changes with that scale too. Sorry.
No. If you have feedback, let's see. Gotta stuff on the app. Yeah, gotta back the stuff on the app. Okay, so say this is your rifle and your scope. Let me do it this way. And they're just basically talking height over bore, right? So this is a big fat, razor, and then you got a little 22 barrel here. So they basically want to know what the center of the scope is to the center of the bore. And that is not as important as you may think. So we usually just put in 225, so 2.25 inches basically. Unless you have some gnarly height scope or something, there's not a huge noticeable difference. So like a guy, like say Josh say we're shooting the exact same gun, and he has 2.75 in there, and I have 2.25 or 2.5. I don't think you're gonna see hardly anything, if anything.
Yeah, it doesn't change much. I measure mine with I'm anal, so I measure it with a caliper. But on a CZ, it's really easy to measure because the opening of the receiver for where basically extraction occurs is basically the center line of the bolt. So it's really easy to measure from the center line of the optic to the bore. And mine is like 1.8, but when I changed it from the default of 2.25, because I think that's the default anyway, I don't think my ballistics changed very much, if at all.
Yeah, see, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's I run my scopes pretty low, which actually on these 419 rails kind of bites me in the ass because I can't move the optic as far forward as I need to.
Yeah, because you have a dovetail to a Picatinny, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I guess as long as I don't touch it, right?
I don't know. Who knows anymore?
Yeah, so it's that 11 millimeter dovetail to Picatinny from the 419. But yeah, yes. I mean the scope is really close to that rail.
Yeah. No, I better not. So basically, yeah, it's the center of the scope. It's the center of the scope to the center of the bore. Whatever that measurement is, you would put that in there. And then basically, if you go in and you're not doing custom setting and you say you got a G1, you go in there, it'll give you an idea of bullets. So you type in, I don't know, say it's Hornady or hell, say it's Lapua Center X. You go to Lapua and then rimfire and then like it'll say Center X. You click on that and it'll autofill basically a lot of the stuff like 1070 feet per second and blah 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 and what bullet and blah, 40 grain bullet. So it's not too difficult. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I think it's you don't really have to worry about it because if you really start thinking about it, most of us in this game run a rail. So at that point, then you got to start asking yourself, at which point in the rail do you measure the optic? Because the bore is is flat, and then your rail is like this to give you that 30 MOA. So your optic distance to your bore line is closing the further out it goes. So yeah, I mean you could probably just measure it with a tape measure and put that in. It's fine.
Yeah, doesn't matter. That's a good point. I do always do mine from the bell end, basically the muzzle end. But it doesn't matter. I put 2.25 in and call it done.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. If you download the Hornady 4DOF app, it has a pretty extensive listing of powders and their temp variation multipliers. Varget, 1 to 6 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I haven't messed with the DOF yet, Ryan. I've been looking at it, looked at a couple videos online. I don't know if I officially want to even get into anything else. I don't really like the Applied Ballistics Kestrel app. It's not that great. But I run everything off of the Kestrel anyway, so if I'm going, I'm not using my phone at all. Basically, it's only there to download the information, which I didn't download last time, updated it, and lost everything anyway, so it didn't matter. But send it is a game changer.
Yeah, it is. And the Kestrel Link app does suck.
Yes.
It's worthless.
I don't like it.
The only good it is
Straylock's
build a
better.
profile. Yeah.
Straylock's more user. I would use that all day long over the Applied Ballistics.
I would never use that Ballistics Link software is no good. Unless the Kestrel, the only thing you really do with is build a profile anyway.
Are you talking about these?
What you got? Oh.
Yeah, I use these. They're great. I like
that kind of like these.
Kind of like those ones, yeah. Yeah, they work really good. Kestrel all the way, baby. Yeah, Ryan, I agree. Yeah, Sinded is a great thing, the LRA. If you guys haven't seen these, basically, I got a couple right here. I got one right here.
Y'all should probably just leave the live stream now and save yourself some heartache, because you're gonna be like me. I started watching these guys live stream.
Save yourself some
next
money.
thing you know, yeah, I'm buying Sinded M3s and.
All right, so this goes on depending on how you're shooting, left-handed, right-handed. If you're right-handed, it'll be on the left side of your rifle, but it'll tell you where center is. So you can see there. It also works at a 90-degree angle. So as you're, depending on how your rifle's canted, and then you're obviously wanting the green light. So this is the MB3. So you can actually pop this off, but the only mount it goes on when you're not using this Picatinny rail adapter is a spur mount. And for those of you that want to spend a whole lot of money on a mount, which they're great scope mounts, don't get me wrong, but they are very pricey. They do thoroughly like their stuff. But these work really good because you can see out of your left eye, this thing telling you if your rifle's level. And what's kind of weird, if I do it just right, that green dot goes into the center, and you guys are going to say this guy's crazy. I can get it where when both eyes are open, the green, I can see it in my reticle. I don't know how. I don't know if it's my eyes. I don't even know if that makes sense. But I have my scope here, right? And this is back here about this far. And for some reason, as I'm going through the scope, because I shoot with my eyes closed. So if I want to know if it's level, I open my eye, kind of squint it. Don't even need it really opened, just to make sure I'm getting the right color. And for the most part, I don't use this as much as people would think I use it. I probably should use it more. And you really don't. It's more important, I think, when you're shooting out to farther distances. But like even shooting 22 rimfire stuff, everything past maybe like 150s when I think it's like way more important to know if your rifle's perfectly level or not.
I use mine constantly, but I have both eyes open all the time when I'm shooting.
Yeah. See, and I don't know. I'm an old guy now, I guess. I mean, obviously I'm not super old, but 50 basically. And I've always, ever since I was a little kid shooting basically BB guns, the pellet guns, the 22s, and so on, since I was like around the age of 5, I always had my eyes closed. So it doesn't matter. As soon as my cheek touches a stock, it just closes. It's like a button. I have to open it basically back up and go, oh yeah, okay, it's level, and then it goes back closed again. So
see, I used to do the same thing until I started shooting carry optics, and then I started doing the training drill where you completely cover the optic glass on your optic on the pistol, and then shoot with it
transfers
like that.
Over.
Yeah, and so to become more target focused, and once I did that, like now, my eyes are always open. And it's kind of cool because I can actually see a clear image through the optic, and I can see the reticle, but then I can also see everything in my peripheral vision as well at the same time. And it's been pretty cool.
Tyler says trick is to keep it close to the ocular so you can see it in your scope. Yeah, I don't know. I have it right at the distance where I normally mount it. I'm running, again, I can't show you, but on the top of my scope, I'm running an F3R, and it has what the hell are those called? The hood? It's not a hood. It's what the hell are those called?
That's like the Raptor mount or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a Raptor mount. And I basically have it there because I don't have any real estate for anything else. So I have this right in front of my data card, and the data card, dope card, sits below it. So when I'm looking for the next one and then I go back on target, I'll still see it, and then I'll close my eye once I get close. And sometimes I won't even give two shits about it. And sometimes I don't even put it on.
Mine's hanging on for dear life at the very end of the tick rail on this thing.
Yeah. There's just no
Damn.
room on a lot of
Well,
real estate.
when you run the rings too, it's even worse because I didn't have the option to go with like the spur mount and so. But it doesn't need much. It actually clamps on really, really well. I mean, it's a great little anti-cant device, that's for sure.
Yeah. Sneed It. Oh, Sneed It is a Chinese knockoff. I haven't seen that.
Probably get it on Amazon.
Yeah, $3. It's great once it's set up for your peripheral vision. Yeah. Well said. Well said. All right. Well, we've been yapping for 2 hours, Josh. It's
Yep.
amazing how fast this goes. I appreciate everybody out there commenting. Hopefully, we're down to 44, 43. It's like stocks are going to shit right
Yeah.
now.
Our company's tanking.
Yeah. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Appreciate everybody showing up. Any final words, Josh, before we get on out of here?
No, if you haven't, if you're lingering around here and not shooting competitive rimfire matches or something like that, just go do it. And for those of you shooting with us on the 27th, like Orson, look forward to seeing you guys out there.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I watched what's going on. Where in Kentucky? It's in Hazard, Kentucky. Hazard, Kentucky. We're going to go hang out with Daisy Duke. Let's see. Thanks, guys. You had some great discussions tonight. Appreciate it, Tyler. Let's see. Ryan, LOL. Yeah. So you guys take care. See you on the next one. Stay safe. We'll keep you updated, and we'll try to get some match footage from this Sunday coming up. Let's see what happens. We'll see if Josh gets first place or not. So,
Yeah, first and the first loser.
Oh, jeez. All right. You guys have a great night. See you on the next one, and I appreciate it again for showing up, having fun, and helping with questions. Make this rock and roll. So appreciate it. Take care.